So Trump is considering sending the National Guard to New Orleans. Hello, I'm Ronald. I make content about New Orleans. I was also born and raised in New Orleans, and I've also lived through Hurricane Katrina and Ida, which is why I think it's a bad idea. If anybody's ever experienced Katrina or Ida firsthand, they know that the National Guard, while they can be helpful, they're pretty much a last resort effort for when things are like really out of hand. And even in that scenario, when they came down to help us, they were very helpful, but they were also very detrimental in many ways, corralling people, forcing people to stay put, basically taking away people's rights under the guise of protecting them, basically forcing people's hands, making sure they were where they wanted them to be, even when it was seemingly a dangerous time to be in. Same with Ida. After the storm hit and took out all the power, it just wasn't a good time. And while I do think New Orleans could use extra protection, I think the protection should come in the form of better policing, better government, basically. And we're even getting to that point because, like I've mentioned multiple times, we have an election coming up where we had a chance to get a new mayor in office who's different and not corrupt as others have been in the past. And one of the comments that I mentioned when I reposted this was like, oh, y'all need that, and y'all are just saying that because it's Trump. If it had been LaToya that said it, y'all would have been agree. A dumb idea is a dumb idea. And I think it's a dumb idea because, again, much like Chicago resisted, I believe the city will resist it because, for one thing, crime has already gone down in the city without need for National Guard. And then there's also the fact that originally it was going to be Chicago, but then they changed their mind, apparently, because he probably got scared out of doing it. Maybe it's still going to happen. Who knows? But changing your mind and making it New Orleans, we don't need or want that. What we need and want is better representation in our government and also just better policing in general. We don't need National Guard to come down here unless there's a hurricane or a storm, in which case, by all means, send the help and the troops, but not now of all times. We don't need that kind of help or that kind of assistance that's being offered. And he even mentioned how Jeff, the governor, is doing a great job down there. He loves to make everything great, even though the things that Landry have done so far has given away our coastal wetlands that protect us from hurricanes, the things we usually need protection from, in order to sell it to governments and plants. They're making a new meta building down here in Louisiana that they're paying for now, but after a few years, we, the taxpayers, are going to have to pay for. So it's just to each their own. If you voted for him, I'm not assuming everybody that voted for him is racist, sexist, all of that, but you only had two choices. But supporting him in certain ideas, or supporting him no matter what he says or does, like with the tariffs and things like that, you need to have a bigger scope sometimes. And most of the people that are thinking it's a good idea already are people that either haven't lived in New Orleans during Katrina and Ida where they had National Guard, or they're just people that aren't from here and just love to be like, oh yeah, New Orleans is dangerous, not too much, they do need National Guard. No, we don't. We are doing better than more cities that are going on right now. So I'll just put it like that and say, like, to each their own, but the National Guard idea to me isn't a great idea. And again, as someone who's lived through two different hurricanes where National Guard were deployed, that's an extreme measure. And we don't need extreme measures in New Orleans. We just need better measures to make the city better, like police and government.